Corey Lajoie, he cannot drive. We're sorry, Janet, you'll survive.
Race car spelled backwards is still race car. This is the Race Car Spelled Backwards podcast. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Brad, and with me, as always, is Jamie, and this is Race Car Spelled Backwards, the only non-affiliated NASCAR podcast. You like that?
Yes.
Jamie, how you doing, man?
Well, not sick anymore.
That's always a positive.
Yeah, I got the shingle shot. Really messed with me. I think they gave me shingles.
You got the shot.
And then got the shingles.
And then you got the shingles. So you have shingles right now?
I'm probably, yes.
Should we be this close?
I don't know if it's contagious.
I'm pretty sure it is. How else would you catch it?
I don't know.
So we had such a good time with the Red Bull last week. We've done it again. So
Brad's going to work on his second one. He crushed it before he drank it.
Yeah, we chugged these down right before we hit record because we didn't want to drink them.
Well, look, I'm going to do a Cup Series sponsored by fake drink. Watch this. Have you noticed they never have sweat on their bottles when it's 110 degrees?
That's because theirs are not even cold.
I don't even think
they're not really.
They go like this. I'd like to thank my sponsors, Good Ranch Services, Red Bull Energy Drink. Oh, that's good. I'm so full of energy right now.
That's as fast as Xfinity 10G.
Yeah. And we sponsor Red Bull on this podcast. Yeah, we sponsor them. That's how big we've become.
On this podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't need their money. We sponsor them.
Red Bull. Oh, yeah. So if you're watching the video, you probably have noticed I have a brace on my right arm. So
it is not for masturbation.
It is definitely not. I was using an auger digging holes.
You're using something else. Okay.
It's the caffeine. That's what's wrong with this guy. No, I was using an auger. We were planting trees in the yard, and I used an auger to drill the holes.
Hey, that sounds sexual.
And the last
auger drilling holes.
The
trees.
last hole I got done drilling,
it's getting worse.
A water line that it wasn't a good water line. It was an old one from years and years ago. My well used to supply both properties back when the families owned all the street I live on, but I hit that and it stopped the blade.
Was it a plantation then?
No, it was just a street with a house on it. What was once one house became four. But anyway, I hit that pipe. It stopped the auger, spun it around on me, hit my wrist. Went and got some x-rays done this morning. It's not broken. It's just a sprain. So all in all, a few weeks, I'll be back to normal.
You live in a development called Jeff Davis, but it's not named after the Confederate president.
I thought it was Jefferson Davis.
Well, wouldn't that be Jeff?
Jeff Davis also has a dentist office around here somewhere.
So is he like the 10th?
No, I don't know. I think
they just keep naming stuff after a dentist? Everybody hates dentist.
Hey, it's June. It's Alzheimer's Awareness Month.
Oh, you know what? I wanted to.
Do you know 1 in 3 seniors die from dementia or Alzheimer's?
I think I got it. My mother-in-law died of it.
That's roughly 11 million Americans that are currently suffering from Alzheimer's or dementia.
Well, Brad, there's a lot of things going on this month.
Including Joe.
Let's just go right ahead. He's got it, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It's Pride Month, as we know.
Yes.
Fly the flag. It's Alzheimer's Month, as you just said. It's also Gun Violence Awareness Month. And you know what? We had our first mass shooting in Monroe County over the weekend.
Really?
Yeah, we're in.
What is considered a mass shooting?
2 or more.
2 or more.
So basically,
any gang fight?
It was basically 2 football players and 2 other guys got shot at a party, after school party. The school was ended. They graduated.
Oh, they graduated.
And it just went boom, boom. It's going to be World Sea Turtle Day, the 16th of June.
World Sea Turtle Day?
Yeah. World Ocean Day is the 8th of June.
Heck yeah.
Juneteenth is on the 19th.
Today's the 5th.
What's today? World Refugee Day, June 20th. Helen Keller's birthday
Well, that's not a holiday. That's a birthday. I have a birthday in July.
It's
18th.
Audiobook Appreciation Month. Did you know that?
No, I didn't, but I do appreciate a good audiobook.
Cancer Immunotherapy Awareness Month.
Is that a Moon Eye thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Children's Awareness Month. So children, be aware.
So
Great Outdoors Month. It's Immigrant Heritage Month. Hey, where did your ancestors immigrate from?
From England.
Mine too.
Did they?
Yeah.
I thought you were German.
No. Pharaoh's actually old English for farrier.
I thought you were Egyptian, man.
No, that's
Pharaoh?
that means farrier. We didn't know how to spell when we came up with our last name.
So I think I was talking to Eric.
It's also National Mosquito Control Awareness Month.
I was talking to Eric, one of our listeners, and me and him have agreed that NASCAR needs to install a boxing ring for post-race. Then they just have post-race fights. Let everybody just settle it right there. And they could put it on on an app or whatever. Put it on Peacock. Charge people to watch it. I would pay to watch two drivers box it out after a race. I mean, Eric's suggestion was Ryan Newman against anybody, which I don't know that we currently have a driver willing to go up against Ryan Newman.
Oh, he's a big dude, man.
I wouldn't go up against Ryan Newman.
He's like a little torpedo.
He has no neck. It's just all muscle. I think Ross Chastain. That was my suggestion.
He's got a quick snap. He can go.
Yeah, he's got that quick right jab. It's not even a cross. It's more of a pow.
Who would?
But I don't know. Who would you?
Tony Stewart, but he's retired. He could probably go a round or two with Ryan Newman.
I bet Noah Gregson.
Noah Gregson could do it.
He might get his butt whooped,
but he'd be willing to do it.
But he would be willing to get in there.
Yeah.
He probably wouldn't even think twice about it. Like, okay, y'all scared? I ain't scared.
You know, Chase Briscoe, when he's sitting in his car, looks like he'd be big enough, but he's kind of thin when he just has a fat head.
He just don't look like a tough guy to me. And then he got hit with that penalty. So Chase Briscoe received, I'm assuming it's probably one of the largest penalties in NASCAR, but the R&D Center, they found a counterfeit NACA duct to the engine panel. Crew chief, $120,000 fine, 6-week suspension. And Chase Briscoe was docked 120 points and 25 playoff points.
Was it Zeppedelli said, yeah, that was put on by accident?
So
why did you have it?
I think it's like their practice, maybe a practice car, like their pit car. Or maybe, I don't know, man. I've been trying to figure it out. Like maybe that's have a car that
put
they
like
practice building
sticker on it so you know it's the counterfeit one?
You would think. I think they just know they got caught, so they're not gonna. I mean, like Hendrick Motorsports did not appeal the Chase Elliott suspension,
and neither did SHR.
I mean, I think it's probably the best thing so here's my thinking on it. Stuart Haas would have been a huge talking point this weekend and all last week for this fine because it is huge. But because of what Chase Elliott did.
Yes, my legs are shaking from all the caffeine.
Because Chase Elliott got suspended, it took the focus off of this fine and penalty. I think it's the best thing that could happen for Chase Briscoe's team because they weren't all the talk this weekend.
Oh, you know what? We need to say to one of our favorite listener, Janet, we need to say sorry.
We apologize.
Because later in this podcast,
probably not going to be very favorable.
You're not going to want to listen.
I mean, she'll listen. I think she'll listen. Yeah, I think she'll listen. I mean, she's open to criticism.
Just remember, it's our opinion. If you would like to debate what we say, we're more than willing to.
If you don't know Janet, she is probably the biggest Corey Lajoie fan.
I would say so, yeah.
You definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, she's probably his number one fan, for sure.
If he has a fan club, she ought to be president.
Definitely. And if he doesn't, she could probably start it and then be the president of it.
Yeah.
So
Corey, if you want to start a fan club, call Janet.
Yeah, definitely call Janet. She'll take care of everything. Mm-hmm. But we got some opinions on Corey Lajoie we will share later on in the show. And
Janet probably could be a PR rep for Lajoie. as much as she likes Corey.
She has some pretty cool Corey Lajoie merch.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, in advance, we apologize, Janet, for anything we might say that is against Lajoie.
Against your beliefs.
Hey, there's this guy named Trevor Jacob. He's a YouTuber who's facing 20 years in prison for crashing an airplane for the views. So apparently in California, this dude Trevor Jacob, took this single-person aircraft up, put a parachute on, had cameras mounted all over this plane, got over to the national forest, pretended he had engine failure, and jumped out of the plane.
So it was accidentally on purpose?
Well, this happened back in 2001, so apparently he's finally admitted that it wasn't an accident and he did it for the views.
Do you think he got enough views to pay for the plane?
I went and looked. The video's still on YouTube.
I remember seeing it.
I mean, I brought it up because me and Jamie laugh all the time. We're like, dude, we're talking about drinking the Red Bulls because we don't drink energy drinks, but apparently once a week now on the show. What if one of us had a heart attack on the show? And Jamie's like, we can get a ton of views from that.
Yeah, we might get 1 million, dude.
So this dude got 2.9 million views on this video. And I mean, it's a plane crashing. And legit, I remember seeing it when it came out, and I legit thought the plane crashed because the engine fell. But apparently he just did it for the views.
Speaking from someone that is in flight school, we don't strap on a parachute when we go to do flying.
Well, the FAA apparently frowns upon this.
Wouldn't you want to not fly on a commercial jet with 200 other people if the pilot and co-pilot came in with a parachute?
Dude, that would be so awesome. Could you imagine being strapped on a commercial jetliner? You're on a Delta airplane. Right before the doors shut, the pilot walks in with a parachute on and goes, hey guys, I'm going to be flying the plane today. Nothing to worry about. Hopefully we'll have a smooth flight, but just in case, you never know. And walks away. Just leaves you sitting there, knowing all you have is a flotation device under your seat.
What if your pilot and co-pilot was Joe Biden and Donald Trump and they had parachutes on? First of all, Joe would forget he's flying a plane and just walk out.
Yeah.
And just jump off the plane where Donald Trump would go, this isn't working for me. And he would just jump out. It's not my fault.
So I was watching this short the other day. I think it was Babylon Bee or whatever, but it had Donald Trump on there talking about making fun of Ron DeSantis. And he's like, oh, Ron DeSantimonious, only a really dumb idiot would live in Florida under him. It would take a stupid, dumb idiot to live under Ron DeSantimonious.
And they all live there.
Yeah, it's the
whole Trump family.
Well, it's funny because whenever he makes fun of Florida, Ron responds with, you moved your whole family here under my administration.
That's because there's no income tax in Florida.
Must not be that bad. I wouldn't live in Florida, man. There's no way. That place, I mean, we even had a Florida driver driving through Georgia who launched off the back of a parked tow truck, right?
Yeah.
Flatbed. It just Dukes of Hazzard it.
Yeah.
I was like, only in Georgia. And then I found out the driver.
We're driving it home in Tallahassee.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump into some racing here. So see if you can follow me here, okay? So Kyle Busch yesterday won his third race at RCR in the 3 Chevy car. Dale Earnhardt drove the number 3. Yesterday, Cindric in the number 2 wrecked the number 3. The 2 is the old number of Rusty Wallace, who was at the track driving midnight, which is the car that he wrecked. Dale Earnhardt, one of his main rivals, who drove the 3.
But what did Dale Earnhardt drive?
There's a lot of 3s there.
Think about it, though.
He drove the 3.
He also drove a 2 before he came to RCR.
Just another connection with the numbers here. That's all I'm saying.
I can't do the math, man. It's freaking me out.
With 3 Chi, they should help that he could drive the Delta 8 car. That would get him 8 wins this season, right? I'm just doing my 3 Chi math here.
Why not?
He's pumped up. If you're listening, I need you to drive the 3Chi Delta. Heck, drive the 3Chi Delta 9 car.
I think Kyle definitely listens to us because he wants an independent voice, not someone controlled by NASCAR.
Somebody to,
because we cannot be
affiliated.
The Francis can't get us.
No. Well,
what can they do to us?
Unless they bought us.
Well, I'd be willing to. What do you think they give us? I think our podcast is worth $100 million. Jim France.
I'm thinking 200, but I would
200. Well, that's $100 million apiece.
I would take $100 million cash
to shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. $100 million.
I could be affiliated with NASCAR for that kind of money.
I just stopped doing the podcast.
I would just.
We
could do an hour and a half of praising how awesome NASCAR is.
That's stacking pennies. We can't do that. It's already taken.
I don't know. It could be. Sometimes I'm thinking Dale Jr. might be too embedded.
The Xfinity series. Do you think really?
I like Dale Jr. a lot.
I think
he's got to walk a fine line because he owns an Xfinity team.
I think with Dale Jr., he knows
where to stop.
Well, I think he realizes how much pull or influence he has, within the fan base. So I think Dale knows at some point he's went far enough, Like, I think he gives you enough where he's being genuine, but not enough just to keep railing on him.
I think if French calls him up occasionally and go, "Hey, Dale, you went a little too far there, buddy."
I'm sure that happens with just about every podcast.
I'm a billionaire, Dale. You're not.
I'm sure that happens.
You're trying to be a billionaire, but I'm not. I'm Jim France. I'm a billionaire. What was that France that was all hooked up on meth? Who's hanging out with hookers and stuff?
Who's shaking like you are right now?
Yeah. I'm not going to say his name. He might sue me for slander.
Remember that Twitter account that's the one.
He was tweaking out on Twitter.
He did sue that dude on Twitter.
He was kind of like the Hunter Biden of NASCAR.
Kind of.
You notice when he got interviewed, he never really admitted.
I trust NASCAR about as much as I trust the government. So,
well, they're kind of like the government when it comes to racing.
If unnamed France guy you want to consider him the Hunter Biden of NASCAR, I could see where you're going with that. Maybe crackheads.
Yeah. I think he's got pictures on his laptop we don't need to see.
Maybe. I think Rick Hendricks has a hard drive full of pictures of just about everybody out there.
The whole France family, at least.
Yeah. Definitely the France family. Because
I think the unnamed France guy was swapping pictures online with Jeremy Mayfield, possibly, allegedly. And then they broke up.
And that's why.
Their partnership.
They're no longer friends.
Yeah. They're not Facebook friends anymore.
That would be horrible, Jamie. Why would you think they would do that?
Well, I'm not saying good things about each other.
I think this is what happened. In my opinion, my suspicion.
We're just exercising our freedom of speech here.
Yeah, in my opinion, what I think happened with Mayfield and
our rights, constitutional rights as journalists.
Unnamed France. I think that Mayfield was selling France meth.
They might actually give us $100 million this week to shut up.
And he didn't pay up. So Jeremy got a little pissy. And then France said, "Hey, you want to get pissy with me? I'll make you get pissy in a cup."
Yeah, that sounds legit.
So instead of unnamed France paying his meth bill, paying his dealer off, a.k.a. allegedly Jeremy Mayfield, our opinion, maybe that's what it had all to do with. He owed Jeremy money, and instead of paying Jeremy the money he owed him, he just got rid of Jeremy.
Hey, I'm going to go off script here. Do you think Allmendinger could win a cup race if he went back on the juice?
On Adderall? I think that's what he was on.
Because he's really like a mid-packer right now.
He really we haven't talked about him a lot here lately, which is good.
He hasn't really created any buzz.
Which is good that we're not talking about him, because when we were talking about him, we weren't really saying a whole lot of good things about him.
He could drive an Xfinity car and win a cup race, but he can't drive a cup car and win an Xfinity race. No, that's backwards.
Yes.
That's too much Red Bull.
You can't win a cup race with an Xfinity car anyway.
Well, but maybe you could.
Actually,
I don't know. The Xfinity cars are putting on a better race.
Xfinity cars put on a race right now between the cup cars. Just
we could, like IMSA, have one race with 2 classes. Wouldn't that be awesome?
36 Xfinity drivers, 36
72 cars,
36 truck drivers, 24 ARCA drivers.
At the Daytona road course. They already race that many cars.
We could put the modifieds on there.
Heck yeah.
You could put
trucks.
The ARCA trucks, Xfinity Cup.
Mm-hmm.
The West Series.
That would be awesome.
Cars Tour Series.
We need to copyright that.
Sprint cars.
So we will get $100 million.
Yeah, I think we could put wing sprint cars on.
Would be awesome. I mean, they run on
can
asphalt.
Can you run a wing sprint car?
They run them on asphalt.
On a road course?
Why not?
Wouldn't they spin? I mean,
that'd be more entertaining.
Not spin, flip. Easily.
Put adults on go-karts, shifting go-karts. Can you imagine the Cup Series cars flying up at 180 miles an hour with the shifter carts doing only 60?
I want you to put all 36 Cup drivers in a rental car and put them on the track. No holds bar. Insurance is paid for.
Might be safer than the current.
It probably would.
Gen car.
I mean, Noah Gregson thanked NASCAR for their safety developments, which I think NASCAR probably wrote a check.
Do you think he was being facetious?
I think NASCAR wrote him a check this morning like, look, dude, we'll give you $2,000.
Shut up.
To thank us for our safety interventions. And so Noah's like, I'm hurting, man. I can barely walk. Thank you, NASCAR. Man. Without your safety innovations, I might not be barely able to walk.
Thank you, France family.
In that old car, I would have still been racing.
Unfortunately,
I mean,
you guys are stuck in the 50s and you're making Marcus do all the thinking.
Hey, at least somebody's doing the thinking, right?
Well, he's being innovative.
Yeah, I mean, it's working for him, too.
What are the Francis doing? Suspending Chase?
So they're suspending somebody. All right, let's jump into that.
Let's go back on script. We're going on script. Let's make the back on script sound. Okay.
In the Xfinity race yesterday, Chandler Smith kept running into Jeb Burton. Well, not yesterday. A few days ago. He kept running into Jeb Burton until he spun him out. Honestly, Jeb wouldn't be my first pick to fight. But apparently, after
when you have a bigger dude to choke him out.
Well, after all this went down, Jeb got online and was talking crap. Like, you know, saying that Chandler had to go see the doctor after he got done with him. You know, sure, he left a mark. You know, he's just talking crap on Twitter.
You go see the doctor for skid marks in your underwear?
Well, Chandler
just went.
He released a video showing
him crapping himself.
Jeb never landed a punch. And then Chandler, you know, did this number so you could see there was no marks on his face whatsoever.
There were skid marks, though.
It basically shut up Jeb.
Turtle head came out of those cracks.
Jeb couldn't keep going around talking crap. Now, the one problem I have with the whole thing is the crew guy had Jeb in a headlock. I thought NASCAR had a rule about crew members stepping in and laying their hands on drivers.
They do. I thought
they did.
I thought they could break it up, but they could not choke them out.
Honestly, when I saw it, I know somebody said on Twitter that they had a problem with him choking him out. When I initially saw the video, I thought he was just pulling Jeb away. And Jeb was pulling away from him, and that's probably how he ended up in a chokehold. I don't know that the crew guy was intentionally trying to lock Jeb up in a headlock and take him down.
Have you noticed it's always a bigger dude doing this stuff?
Well, these are.
Well, they hire him just to punch him.
These
choke him out.
Guys are bigger dudes. So
it's a damn shame.
A crew guy is a bigger dude.
Damn shame.
All right, Parker Kligerman. Did you see what he did last lap, diving in on the bottom?
I don't like Parker. I just got to go with that. Yeah, I saw it.
It was. I just thought it was stupid. Like, why?
Because he's a douchebag.
Well, Parker wasn't going to make it anyway.
He knew he wasn't going to make it.
So he dive bombed it in there.
He wanted sponsor Yellow TV time.
Well, it didn't work out too well for him because he ended up wrecking himself and Allgaier. Of course, Allgaier then went through the the penalty thing, just like they practiced, came out. I thought Allgaier was going to pass and take.
Yeah, I thought he could take it back.
I thought he would get there. I really did, but
I'm surprised they didn't punch each other, Parker and Allgaier.
They should have. But I think Allgaier, he's been doing this a long time, man. I think he's just too old to go fight Parker. I mean,
Yeah, he's like 36.
Parker's driving above his head or something. I mean,
Parker needs to just keep the microphone in his face.
He does great. Like, Parker does such a good job on pit road. I enjoy his insight, and I think he does a great job. But I'm just not a fan. I think he's driving subpar equipment, and it is what it is. Like, you need to accept it. Now,
he's a part-timer. You got to get in a groove to win, dude.
What? But not in that equipment. He's full-time this year in that ride.
Accidentally full-time.
Yeah, well, but
what are they paying
he's going to be competitive on a road course.
You think he's making minimum wage driving that thing? He's making all his money in TV, isn't he?
Yeah, so he's probably making minimum wage to drive the car.
What was that, $7 an hour?
He's making his money doing the TV gig.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're talking about Chase Elliott. He did, in fact, get suspended just like we suspected, and self-proclaimed future Hall of Famer Corey Lajoie was his replacement driver. Jamie, Corey Lajoie finished 21st. What do you think about that, sir?
Well, that Hocevar sure drove Corey's old car a lot better than, say, Corey until he got wrecked.
I mean, Hocevar was top 20 in it.
Corey's been screaming for years if he had better equipment, he'd win more than... Didn't he tell Denny he'd win as much or more than Denny if he had a good car?
Something like that. I mean, he's been very vocal on his show about the only reason he doesn't win is because he's not in winning equipment. Well, look, Hendrick, I'll admit, Hendricks looked like they struggled some yesterday. But at the end of stage
they overcame it, though, except for him.
Yeah, at the end of stage 3, you had
Larson came in second.
Oh, well, where did he finish?
Fourth.
Yeah, he finished 4th. You had William Byron finished 8th. And Bowman had a transmission issue and finished 28th, I think.
On the radio chatter,
26.
Didn't the crew chief tell Corey, yeah, that's all I got for you, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, they were doing all they could do, but...
He shut the car off by accident, dude.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
The kill switch ought to be the same as it is in his own car 7.
It is the same.
I can't get started.
The same.
And he's like, it just shut down for no reason.
Kill switch and has to recycle the whole system. No,
Stage fright.
I mean, the best thing that happened to Corey all day was the brake rotor exploding on Carson Hocevar, because Carson Hocevar was outpacing
going to beat Corey.
And he had a part failure. I mean, if I'm Spire, I'm talking to Harcevo about a 2024 ride, because you got he outdrove both Spire Motorsport drivers. You got finished dead last Dylan, who is only going to beat the cars who fall out of the race. And then you got Corey.
If Dylan doesn't crash first and end up last.
Look, Corey is a phenomenal personality for NASCAR. He really is. I like Corey.
Now, to give Corey a little credit, Barry didn't do that great in his first Cup race. But after that...
But that wasn't Corey's first Cup race. That was Corey's first Cup race. Only thing different was the team. Well, I mean, I guess that is a big difference. It's a different team, different crew chief, different car, but a good driver. I mean, you got Josh Berry filling in for other drivers all season, and he's had some, heck, he's almost won races this season as a fill-in. So all I'm saying is Larson and Corey Lajoie ran stage 1 together. At the beginning of stage 2, Larson's car finally started taking to the improvements, and he moved forward. Lajoie started following him.
Hey, I thought
26th, Lajoie stalled out.
I thought Larson was the only legit threat to Busch the whole race until that last restart.
I don't know. I thought Blaney was strong all day, and he ran up top all day. I mean,
unfortunately, he drives a Ford.
Yeah, well, can't fix everything.
Well, they say fix or repair daily.
Found on road dead.
And, you know, SHR, if it wasn't for Harvick, where would they be?
So what would you give the race?
Xfinity races?
What would you give yesterday's race on a scale of 1 to 10? I mean,
I found it somewhat entertaining, but it was kind of blah, too, if you think about it. It had moments.
So
better than Richmond, better than Martinsville, but not by much. If out of 10, I'd give it a 6.
I think I'm at a 7. I'll go with a 7. But I like Kyle Busch, so I'm gonna get some Kyle Busch diecast for the table here.
With the 3 chi on it or cheddars?
3 chi.
Do you like cheddars?
Never had cheddars.
I don't like cheddars.
Never had cheddars, so I
hate cheddars.
But
I've never had good service at cheddars.
Never had it. Is there one around here?
There was one in Macon, Georgia, but they closed because everyone else felt the same as I felt about cheddars.
It could have just been Macon.
Well, Macon is I don't know what you want to call it, a cesspool, a
crap hole,
a sewer.
Well, yesterday's race had a little bit of everything.
I was born there.
We had a 2-hour lightning delay. We had a red flag for the wall coming apart. We had a red flag because a wreck had so much debris. No
AT&T turned off their internet.
Power issues.
Did you notice they had to go to Charlotte for a little bit?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I mean, come on.
That was when Harsevo blew a brake rotor. He was going into the wall and
cut.
froze.
I think his car cut.
No, this is the same track who's had problems with power issues or something.
Google one of the worst cities in America, and you'll come up with East St. Louis.
They had the power go out in the middle of a truck race one time.
Yeah, the lights went out.
So, yeah, I mean, this track.
Now, it took longer than the 600 in Charlotte, dude.
NASCAR came out and said that the power failure was nothing that NASCAR did or the track. So
the Francis weren't involved?
No, Francis.
No Francis.
Who owns the track? NASCAR?
No.
Independent?
Yeah.
Well, they weren't involved.
A few independent.
So NASCAR has let us, thank God they weren't involved. You know, I mean, who would have thought it was their fault?
They might design a new race course. Oh, my goodness.
I mean, I trust NASCAR about as much as I trust the United States government. So I'm just saying.
So
when they come out right away and say, we did nothing wrong, it wasn't our fault, that's like covering it up. I mean, if you're that quick to pull the trigger and say, I didn't do it, you probably did it.
But they're so used to being blamed, they just wanted to get that out there.
No, they do the same thing all the time. You can, if you want to know what NASCAR's up to, just look at what they tell you they're not doing.
And they're doing it.
Yeah. I mean, they said they had nothing to do with this, so it was probably the track's fault. Or
say no to drugs or you're snorting a line of cocaine.
NASCAR told them they had to put XYZ here, and the track said, well, if you put XYZ there, they're going to have data communication problems, and NASCAR said, we don't care. So then NASCAR's like, look, I know this is your fault, but I'm going to tell Twitter that it wasn't, and everything's okay, or we'll take a race from you.
You'd think they could bring one of them bubbles that they have on ships for internet, cruise ships.
I thought the racing was better than last year, though.
Stick it in the infield.
A bubble they have on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
To keep you from getting coronavirus?
No, it looks like a balloon.
A Chinese spy balloon?
Yes, exactly.
So it looks
but inside
like a spy balloon.
Is a
Joe Biden?
Yes. A Donald Biden.
Donald Biden?
Love child from both families.
Well, it was Jill and Trump's son.
Could be. I think they're the same people.
Jill and Trump? Or Trump and Jill?
What's
Jill and Biden? Joe. That's it. Joe and Jill.
Yeah, they made a baby.
Yeah, Hunter.
Yeah.
They won't claim his granddaughter, but they'll claim him.
Thank God they stopped making babies. Oh, my goodness. Donald won't even claim them.
Hey, you see McDowell had Ross Chastained at the beginning of the race. But here's my question to you. Does it count as getting Ross Chastained if Ross Chastain doesn't finish better than he did? I mean, he aggressively wrecked
Can
Michael
Rick
McDowell.
Hendrick give Ross his balls back?
Please. Like, I mean,
this is going to be an hour-long podcast because Ross has his balls in Rick Hendrick's purse.
I mean, honestly, I'm glad he chilled out a little bit, but if it's going to make him drive worse.
Now his driving matches his interviews after the race.
So at least he was finishing the top 10 when he was driving aggressively. Now, I don't think there's an in-between for Ross. Ross is either 100 miles an hour or sitting in a parking lot waiting on the next person to go through at the Dairy Queen. It's just, it ain't going to work for Ross. He needs to drive aggressive or not drive at all.
Hey, what about how good Jordan Taylor did?
Where'd he finish at?
Wasn't he top 10?
Honestly, I don't remember.
Or did Parker finish him off?
I'm not going to lie. The Portland road course race was kind of boring. Like, I did not like the stage breaks. Why are we stage breaking again?
I thought they were going to stop doing that on road courses.
Well, I think because they didn't have the pit crews. You didn't have your A team out there because the cup race went there also.
I think weed is legal in Oregon, so they were all probably wasted.
The pit crew?
Yeah.
Was trying
dude, man, where's my blunt?
Dude.
You
know how hard it is to change a tire while smoking a doobie?
Dude, it's not raining. How are we going to get water for our bong, dude? Last year, we could fill it up by just putting the water bong out on the
I'm glad it didn't
pit road, man.
Rain would have made it even worse. Could you imagine if these drivers smoked weed while driving?
Maybe we should do that, the weed cup.
They wouldn't. That would be the most uneventful. That would be worse than F1.
They'd be driving at 15 miles an hour.
That's what I mean. That would be worse than F1.
Dude.
Dude, you need to slow down. You almost went double digits.
Parker, they dropped the net. Parker, you want some of my Doritos, dude? You hungry yet, dude?
Hey, I was going to ask you this question because you're a car guy. Why did we have the brake rotors exploding so much yesterday versus other tracks? Like, I have a theory in my head, but I don't know if it's correct.
You know, the race was only 300 miles, right?
Yeah, and the broadcast lasted longer than the Coke 600.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. If you heat up a metal and then it cools off and heats up again, it becomes brittle. So at some point, they started cracking because of the heating up and cooling down. But it doesn't make sense when a race is further at, say, a Martinsville.
So, well, see, I would think their brakes at Martinsville would have more of a tendency to explode than here.
But the ambient heat was hot. It was 91 degrees.
So this was a mile and, 1.23 mile track?
So the in-car temperature I saw was like 117.
Well, if you watch the data they showed of the brake and the gas, when they would go into turn 1, they were hard on the brake to make that turn. But when they would enter turn 3, they weren't so hard on the brake. They could enter that turn faster. So I'm wondering if the straightaway speeds are faster and you had to be on the brake so hard to enter the turns. I wonder if that has
and I was thinking there was probably some drawbacks. This is just my opinion. I was thinking Bowman may have been using the engine to slow down instead of brakes.
Yeah.
Downshifting. And that's why his transmission went out.
Dude, I hear there's a lot of rumor and rumbling going on right now about them getting rid of shifting in these cars.
I think it's a good idea.
I think it needs to go. Get rid of it. You give them more power and less shifting.
We've been preaching this for over a year. The most amazing racing is Australian supercars.
Oh, yeah.
They have bias braking, dude, like drifters.
I don't know, man. You look at...
They're only running Camaros and Mustangs right now. We could do the same thing in America.
Well, look at like late model dirt cars like the Castrol Oil Series or the Lucas Oil Series or, these late model dirts like Jonathan Davenport. Those guys racing, those cars got a ton of horsepower and they just sling them around. It's just fun to watch.
Oh, I think horsepower is the answer. We've kind of detuned our Cup Series.
I mean, you watch that show Dirt on Fox Sports?
Actually, I started watching. I'm on episode 3 right now.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. If you haven't watched that show, go check it out. I really believe if they do it right, Fox has an opportunity with this Dirt series to do with the dirt racing what Netflix and F1 did together.
So are they going to have to buy Flow Racing, though? Flow Racing and Dirt? The Dirt Racing channel. What's the other one? There's 2 of them.
I think Flow Racing is
Or are they affiliated with Fox already?
I think they have to be. I've never really dug into it, but like this is a show that you can on Flow Racing. It's no commercials, unedited or whatever. I'm sure on Fox they don't cuss. They probably bleep that out on Fox Sports, I would assume. But it's a great show. But what I was talking about with those cars, even those guys are flying. They're in go-karts with more horsepower than a cup car, and they're in a go-kart with it. But it's fun to watch guys race a car that they can barely control. So not only do they have to beat the other 35 guys on the track, and then we're talking about late models and sprint cars. I mean, it's like 10, 15 other guys, 20 guys at the most you got to beat. But not only do they have to beat those guys, they have to hold on to that car for every second of every lap because they're driving it on the edge of out of control. And as a viewer, you can visually see it. And it's a lot more fun to watch than turn on a cup race and you got Denny Hamlin, one hand in it, drinking water, driving down at Talladega at 200 miles an hour. Like, yeah, it's fast, but it doesn't look like they're on the edge of out of control because they have too much power. Give them the power, make them control the car with the throttle, not the brake.
It would make the racing way better.
It would have to. I mean,
let's get rid of the rear air dam. Let's make it looser.
Yeah. More
horsepower, looser.
Less downforce.
No downforce.
Just
help.
It's what we see on short tracks, not just dirt tracks.
On midgets.
I mean, you see it on the Cars Tour and, those kind of stock late model races on asphalt. You see it there too. These guys have very powerful cars and a lot of horsepower, and they have to control it. It's up to them. Do you want to give it a little more power? Go right ahead. Can you hold on to it, though? I want to see them try, honestly.
Well, what you're predicting is what, I put on my thinking cap on at the meeting house yesterday.
Oh, yeah. You went to Quaker Church.
Yeah. And, we're into witchcraft and stuff.
Witches. I'm into witchcraft.
We're Christians. But I'm putting on my thinking cap right now. You know what I see in the future? In my Quaker future?
All right, so don't forget, sometimes crap, it does happen. And sometimes you need a plumber to fix it. In that case, we would call Danny Carden Plumbing, the official plumber of the Race Car Spelled Backwards podcast. The guys you call when crap happens. The ring?
No, I see. Remember IndyCar and kart split?
Yeah.
I see a split coming to NASCAR in our future.
I don't know. Honestly, I could see it. I could see something happening. I definitely could, but...
What if they came up with, let's say CBS approached Marcus Smith, who owns half the tracks, and said, look, dude, screw that family from another country, like where Paris is at.
Yeah.
And we'll give you $6 billion to run your own series just at your tracks. Can he say no to that? He can't.
I'm sure he's under some kind of contract, though, that he couldn't get out of.
Don't forget his daddy tried to split NASCAR in the 50s.
It wouldn't surprise me. So, but I'll be honest, like watching. All right,
let me get my Quaker hat and go back to just me.
I watch probably 3 or 4 races a weekend on Flow Racing. It's usually dirt late models, and I like to watch Cars Tour races, and then I watch All-Star Circuit sprint cars. And then whatever, I usually some random thing. Like I watched the Porsche race yesterday.
The Carrera?
Yeah. So I watched that.
Michelin Pilot.
But what my point is, I'm watching good racing there. So I'm not as disappointed by the crap racing NASCAR delivers. So I can kind of get back to just following the storylines. But, that's what we're talking about. They're muzzling the drivers and preventing them from doing anything, to the point where we're not even going to have storylines. I mean...
And I watch the WEC. I watch IMSA, Indy Cars.
I mean, you had your boy Austin Cindric yesterday on a roll. He spun Christopher Bell out, sent him up. Then, not to be outdone by Bubba or Chase, Austin goes in and hooks Dylan, sending him into the wall, taking out Stenhouse and Dylan both.
What do you think about that? Should he be suspended?
According to Richard Childress, he said it's payback. What do I think?
Richard Childress isn't driving the car. So.
I think it looked like a racing move. It honestly looked like Austin came up.
I'm teetering.
But so a straight on shot looked like Cindric went down. The corner shot looked like Austin went up. My question is, NASCAR justified penalizing Chase Elliott based on what they saw in the data. Based on the data, can they justify, or without the internet connection they didn't have, are they going to have this data to even...
If they don't have the data, they can't make a decision.
That's what I mean. Like,
if they have the data and it shows that he turned hard right, I would say suspend him. But I've watched it about 20 times. At one point, I was sure he turned right. Later, I'm like, but he didn't turn hard right. So I don't know. I'm on the fence. I don't think it's the same as Chase.
Completely different.
I don't think it's
not completely different, but it is. It's not the same. I don't
think a Dylan fan should go up to Cindric and threaten to beat his ass.
Yeah, our buddy Lance sent us a video of a Chase fan trying to fight Denny Hamlin. It was hilarious. It didn't work out too well for him.
I've never been that disgruntled with a driver that I want to go kick his butt for my favorite driver.
When we went to the Coke 600 in 2022, Denny Hamlin won the race. As he's pulling into pit road,
there was a douchebag there.
A fan jumped on his hood,
blocking him,
pissed off at Denny
for winning.
Yeah, just jumped on his hood and tried to block him. Yeah, I mean Denny just takes a lot of crap.
I haven't bought that into any driver yet. What about McDowell? We haven't talked about him. Do you think he could pull a Lajoie if he got a good ride? Or no, that's the wrong thing to say. Do you think he could pull a Barry?
Yeah, I do. Because he finished ninth yesterday. He was involved in 2 mix-ups yesterday and still finished ninth.
He's kind of under the radar.
Dude, that team, man, that 34 team, I'm impressed because
front row's kind of.
Well, he won the Daytona 500 a few years back, and I'm like, there's no way he's going to stay competitive, and
he's gotten better.
He stayed very competitive, so I'm impressed. I'm all for it. I like it. I think if you put him in a little bit better car, he'll do better. But honestly, I think they just need to keep working towards him getting better in that car he's in. The longer he's in that car, the better he's going to get. I mean, he keeps improving week in and week out. I've been using him in my fantasy picks. So I don't know that I'd use him at Sonoma, but.
Well, Brad hasn't seen this yet. I showed him a picture. If any of you guys are bored, watch the recap of the IMSA race in Detroit. Look for the yellow BMW that goes on top of the Austin Martin. Slides over his roof, lands on top of 4-foot-high tire stacks. And and I hate BMW, but the driver says, "Oh, I think I can jump off this 4-foot-high stack of tires and keep racing." So he throws it in gear, releases the clutch, jumps off the tire stacks, and drives off. Of course, the radiator's leaking. He probably blew up later, but it's really awesome, dude.
The whole undercarriage of the car is completely destroyed.
He didn't drive through the guy. He drove on top of him.
It's insane.
Google that. Go to YouTube.
Well, before we jump into Twitter Says, I just want to get a quick update on Thomas Hatcher, the pit crew member who, I guess he ran into another member on the crew.
I haven't seen videos, dude. I heard about it.
So we're not 100% sure.
Or did his driver run him over?
No, he didn't get hit by his driver.
He just ran into another crew?
That's what I've seen, that he ran into another crew member and it knocked him out.
Wow.
So he was taken to the hospital after the race. He was released last night and sent home. to go through the NASCAR concussion protocol this week and make sure he's cleared there.
So we got human beings chastising each other now, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, this is what I thought was fun, well, interesting. He is a Joe Gibbs Racing crew member working at Legacy Motorcycle Club on the 43.
Oh, but doesn't Joe Gibbs rent out his A&B teams?
I mean, obviously.
I think so.
Well, I guess he had 2 extra teams that were pitting the 2311 cars last year. Now they have in-house teams.
So, yeah, so they were.
So yeah, he's probably renting both of those out to Legacy Motor Club. That makes sense. See, I knew I'd keep you on this show.
Without the Francis supporting the teams, I mean, you got to find other avenues of revenue, right?
You like to dog the Francis, don't you?
I think it's cool that they have a last name that matches a country's name.
Yeah. French fries.
French fries. Yeah.
All right, you ready? Let's jump in. Twitter says.
What does Twitter say, Brad?
Bob Pockris tweeted out, Corey Lajoie was originally a little frustrated with himself after a 21st place finish in his substitute role for Chase Elliott.
That makes sense.
But he certainly was thankful for the opportunity and said it was a dream come true.
No, I don't think that was a dream come true.
Well, at Rob Elliott 6 said, I'm thankful I don't have to hear people go on and on about how Lajoie just needs an opportunity and good equipment to prove he's a Hall of Famer.
I think that argument, I'm not willing to say that he can't be a great driver yet. He had a bad day. Maybe his pit crew had a bad day. But I am willing to say it was a massive disappointment after all his talk.
Agreed. I think that's what people are getting at is like.
And Janet, I didn't just say that for you.
He's been very open about the only reason that these guys run better than him is because their equipment's better than his. Well, here you go.
Unfortunately, Hocevar was doing better than you.
Exactly.
When he wrecked.
Well, at Midhill 257827778.
Good night, Almighty. Is that his phone number? That looks like a Social Security number to me. Wow, I don't think I'd do that. Go ahead.
He replied to Bob with, it's hard to fill in, and the 9 has struggled. Well, so they got excuses.
Yeah.
At Big Dre 1909.
Think he was born in 1909? He should be dead by now, though, right?
Or maybe he's just smarter than
Miracle
all of
of
us.
Medicine.
Yeah, maybe he's just smarter than all of us.
It's all the Red Bull he drank. Kept him going.
He ended up, it's kind of crazy because he ended up on the show twice, and it was unintentional. So I tweeted to him to let him know, hey, you made the show this week twice. Thanks for tweeting. So at Big Dre 1909 said, it was always said, what if he had good equipment? Well, he got it. And was outperformed by another substitute driver in his own car. Carson really made him look bad in his first cup start at that.
True.
That's what we said. Like,
yeah,
you got outdone. Carson outdid both Spire drivers. So that's why Spire needs to be trying to set up a contract. Well, Jackham Racing, at Jackham Racing says, best thing that happened to Corey is Carson's car breaking. That kid was driving the wheels off of that 7 car, headed to the top 10. Was his first time in the new car and adapted like a pro. Hey, Spire, found your driver for next year. Yep, well, there you go, Spire.
If you own Spire, right?
I would be talking to Carson about driving one of my cars.
But I think I'd keep Lajoie. I would get rid of the Dillon boy.
Well, it depends. Their affiliation with RCR might come with a Dillon boy. RCR might be funding
that's true.
That Dillon car.
Buying the ride, huh?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, then LaJoie's going to what? Ware Racing? They got an open seat.
I mean, I just think Corey needs to step it up.
I don't think Cody's coming back.
No, I don't think he is either.
Nope.
So, next tweet. At Front Stretch says, Austin Dillon didn't mince his words towards Austin Cindric. I was intentionally wrecked by him. Hooked right, just like Chase and Denny and Bubba's deal. He better be suspended next week.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm on the fence on this
Front
one.
Stretch.
Yep.
Well, at it's Coey.
Wow.
Drivers are going to cry for suspensions every week now, aren't they?
They are.
This is going to make the sport boring, in my opinion. These guys are going to be scared to touch with all this suspension crap going on.
Maybe what they ought to do is give them an airbag so they can go head on in the front stretch.
Don't hurt as bad.
Yeah, just screw it. Let's
give them
go.
A parachute.
Yeah, let's give them some safety.
At Graham Hill responded with, so anyway, can we move on from the mustache now?
True that.
Dude, I hate the mustache.
His wife must like it.
Oh, it gets better. A lot of people, dude, I would say the majority of the responses to Front Stretch here are about Austin Dillon's mustache. So at Johnny Lead said, Austin is just angry that Kyle Busch is showing everyone how good RCR equipment really is, because he certainly can't.
True that.
Kyle Busch has had 3 wins.
3 wins, one last year in Toyota at Joe Gibbs.
He's had 3 wins this season total.
And a 1 for Chase
Austin
Briscoe.
Dillon has had 4 total in his career at
It'd be
RCR.
0 wins if it wasn't for Chase Briscoe at Bristol last year.
But,
in Toyotas.
Well, heck, Kyle's also had the same amount of victories as all the Joe Gibbs drivers combined now.
Wow.
3.
Good decision to
But
leave.
1 more win by Kyle Busch, and he will tie Austin Dillon's career record at RCR. That's not a good look for Austin.
Maybe Austin should only drive on super speedways, Talladega and Daytona. That's where he wins.
Well, he won the 600.
So we can, a broken clock's right twice a day.
So Lori Huff 68 replied to at Front Stretch with, get rid of the porn mustache and don't blame Cindric for something that wasn't intentional. Face to palm. Palm to face.
Smacking my head.
I got it backwards.
Yeah, smack.
Whatever that means.
SMH.
So at Big Dre 1909.
It's him again.
I told you, it's our buddy. He follows us on Twitter now, so he'll be able to keep
Good job, Big Dre.
He'll be able to keep up with the show. I swear these drivers are pansies. Agreed.
Yeah.
I don't ever recall Winston Cup drivers lobbying for drivers to be suspended as these drivers do. Even with all the safety stuff they have, these drivers just cry too much. Agreed.
You know what? I think NASCAR.
These guys, these Winston Cup guys back here.
Look at that.
They handled things. I think they handled things in the garage.
Well, I think NASCAR should stop saying, oh, you said you wrecked them, I'm suspending you. Because you know what? Sometimes people claim they did something they didn't. Let them say whatever they want. Let's get back to people with personalities.
Honestly, I think
I want a personality.
like with Chase and Denny, I would rather NASCAR not suspend Bubba and Chase for left hooking. I think the outcome of your suspension should be based on the outcome of the health of the driver you wreck. So you wreck Denny Hamlin and he has a concussion. Your suspension is you're out till he's back.
There you go.
You wreck Denny Hamlin and Denny Hamlin comes back the next weekend, so do you.
Works.
Tie your suspension length to the driver's length of races he missed.
If you got a headache for 2 days, guess what? No sim time.
Yeah, I mean,
it's that simple.
I mean, you know what? Charge them a fine. Don't even do points. Just charge them money and make that money be donated to charity openly. You pick the charity of choice, whatever. I mean, this month you could do it for Autism Awareness Month. You could make it.
Oh, no, it's not their month.
Yeah, it is.
Alzheimer's.
That's what autism. I said.
I think that was last month.
I'm like, I did say Alzheimer's. No, I said autism. This month is Alzheimer Awareness Month. So any penalty issued this month, the fine should be donated to that particular awareness.
Or give them a rainbow dollar.
I'm just saying, I think you should hit these drivers in a way that's not like they're doing now. 1 week off and a
Make
waiver.
them speak.
1 week off and a waiver to keep racing? No. You've done you've given him a 1 week vacation. Look, Chase Elliott, it's obvious he don't give a crap this season.
Hold it. Yeah, let's get real for a second about Chase Elliott.
He don't care.
He doesn't. His head's not in the game anymore. I don't know what he's doing.
He doesn't even want to. He acts like he doesn't even want to be here, man. Like he would rather.
He
be
has
somewhere
less
else.
personality than his daddy.
I don't even think. I just think his giver crap's broken. He doesn't want to be racing, and he's clearly making that obvious.
Maybe he should be a professional snowboarder.
Maybe. Well, I don't think he's really that great at that.
I'm about to change allegiance.
I jumped over to Kyle already, so.
Well, I'm thinking of jumping to Carson.
Hey, at Case Face.
I only have to root for him once a year.
At Case Face 561.
You go,
responded
Case
to
Face.
Front Stretch with he needs to be suspended for that mustache.
Yeah, that's true. I'm in favor of that.
Like I said, a lot of these people had a problem with the mustache.
Actually, let Austin Cindric hold him down while a barber shaves it with a straight blade. Does that work? What time is it?
4:15.
Time for Lance to call you?
Lance.
Hey, Lance.
Call you right back, bud. So, Jeff Gluck. Richard Childress says Austin Cindric wrecked Austin Dillon on purpose as payback. Well, I don't know. This is at COG-IT-O-N Georgia. COG-IT-O-N Georgia. I don't have a clue how you pronounce it, but we're going to.
Looks like COG at Lincolnton, Georgia.
Okay, we'll go with that. Oh, what tangled webs NASCAR has wrought. The rush to judgment on Chase last week, especially while doing nothing to the Hamlin retaliation wreck machine, the guy who goes after people who touch even the cars he owns.
Wow, I think he went to the public school system I went to.
Yeah, me too. Mine too.
Dynamite.
We graduated together.
Yeah.
May not look so good moving forward, but we had to be consistent after Bubba, or otherwise the media might say mean things. P.S. I think they are
Maybe
still booing him.
It's a kid.
This guy.
He's a kid.
He's from Georgia.
I'm not going to say anything more about him. Bad.
Whatever.
Sounds like a third grader with a Twitter account.
He's like Chase Elliott. So it's Chase, the same flipping guy still. Chase, period. Elliott, period. Situation, period. Was, period. Not, period. Like, period. Bubba, period. Situation, period. Just because the media and NASCAR told you to believe, that doesn't make it true. He's a Chase fan defending Chase. No. Not working for me. Chase.
Well, last year with Bubba, they set a precedent. It was obvious
Chase turned left. Yeah, exactly. Chase and Bubba did the same thing. If you're going to suspend one, I think NASCAR needs to make a statement that they're not going to do that anymore.
Yeah, they need to go back to have at it, boys. Yep. Let's do it. Say whatever you want.
All right, Jamie, we're going to Sonoma. Let's get on some hotels, sunshine.
You know, I had a tough time. Sonoma doesn't have any crappy hotels.
Well, I actually put on here, we're going to Sonoma. It's in California, so what street tent would we not want to stay in if we were going to be staying in a street tent?
We're not going to tell you. We're going to tell you to Google it.
Yep, definitely Google it.
Because we're still at the point where we're not making any money at this.
Yeah, so we can't.
We can't be sued.
Yeah, we have no money to legally pay our legal dues.
Actually, when this is over, we're going to form an LLC so that they'll get zero assets.
Sounds great.
They'll have to figure out who we are to sue us along with the LLC.
Well,
what should we call it? RCB Media or RCB Network? Network sounds bigger.
RCB Network. Yeah, but media is a media company.
Hey, for $10, we can get a race program that we can talk about without getting sued.
For $10, that's worth it.
Yeah. So anyway,
all right.
Charity Tea.
Charity.
Now this is in Oakland. 1 out of 5, of course, on Google.
Hey, we stayed in Oakland, didn't we?
No, we were at Hermosa Beach at the end of our championship run in the Cannonball Run.
When we became Cannonball Run
what was the name of that beach?
No, we stayed. The hotel we stayed in was not Oakland. It was
Oklahoma.
What?
Oklahoma City, not Oakland. Oakland's like 5 hours. Remember, you wanted to go see the Redwood Forest?
We stayed in California. Where did we stay at? What city was the Motel 6 we stayed in?
That was the wherever LAX is.
What's it? Not Compton. Inglewood. That's it.
Inglewood. That's Inglewood. Where we were at.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't think we were at Inglewood.
We can go back to Oakland.
Anyway, Oakland. And Christy T said, "It's so bad that I wish I could give this place no stars." She went there first. Good for you, Christy. I took pictures of proof of what kind of disgusting environment they're profiting off of.
I'm glad you took pictures, but they'll still deny it. They'll look at your picture and deny the picture.
That's not toilet paper stuffed in the walls.
No, it's just 2 lumps on the wall.
Last day of my stay, I almost lost my life because someone in the main trash can lit the main trash can on fire, which is right outside my room door. I was in room 107, so if you happen to stay at this crappy hotel, don't avoid 107s in Oakland, everyone, which is behind the entrance of the motel, a very shady place to say the least.
Well, I would imagine behind a hotel in Oakland would be shady.
Well, they can't seem to keep a professional team, have you noticed?
Behind anything, any building in California, if you go behind it, like that sounds bad. Like, man, I was over at this one hotel in Oakland. I went out back. It was horrible.
Don't most bad stories in California start with I was in Oakland?
Well,
no, LA's got, we saw plenty.
They start with out behind
I'm in California.
I think a lot of them could start with out behind the motel. Out in California, out behind the motel, do you know what happened?
Out behind the motel, I found Dianne Feinstein drooling in her wheelchair. Her employees abandoned her.
You know, tell what you find behind a hotel in
I think there's a Feinstein behind every bad hotel in a wheelchair. So anyway, when I ran to the office to tell them to call 911 because of the fire, I found the man at the front desk with his pants and underwear down to his knees. One hand was working it. The other had tissues in it. Whatever.
What?
She says, whatever.
I understand
I guess
that, but
she just saw it and kind of expected it because of how crappy the hotel was.
Is that the worker?
Yeah.
Okay. That's how you greet people?
I found the man.
That's what I mean.
Man.
She said, I found
She's very direct. At the front desk with his pants and underwear down to his knees. One hand working at what? The computer, maybe?
Oh, no.
You don't think it was a computer?
It just hit me.
His cell phone?
Nope.
And the other hand had tissues in it.
He was choking the chicken there, Bubba.
You think maybe there was some lotion there, too?
She didn't say it. I mean...
no, maybe not.
I don't need details.
He was dry working that keyboard.
Whatever would not have been my response. I think I'd have just left.
I think she's used to these weird things. She's going to Oakland.
She says she used her cell phone.
I used my cell phone to call 911 and got dispatch in San Fran. That wasn't going to work. I'm surprised the drug addicts and prostitutes didn't gather around and make s'mores. Huh.
There's so much going on.
Do you think if you're on crack, you got the money to buy the stuff to make s'mores?
There's so much going on at this hotel that one night.
Remember, it's in Oakland.
Prostitutes and drug addicts in Oakland hanging out in the parking lot, lit the trash can in front of room 107 on fire while the night manager jerked off inside.
We're going to have to be rated mature again. You said jerk chicken.
You said something earlier.
Did I?
I'm sure.
Man, and we've cleaned it up so much since
we've been explicit since episode 1. I've never changed that rate.
Hey, you might as well keep it because there's some innuendo here anyway.
Well, we have a lot of innuendo.
So this one is the next two are actually in Sonoma.
In the window.
And Samantha, she cut straight to the chase on this 1 out of 5 on Google.
Is this Kyle Busch's wife, Samantha?
Could be.
Okay.
Don't you think they stay in their bus in the infield, though?
Just for this one review, though, we're going to go with this is Samantha
We're
Busch.
pretending.
Allegedly.
We're using our constitutional rights for free speech and freedom of the press.
I might change
Pull a gun out. We could also...
She's actually a pretty nice person from what I know, what I've seen, so I'm not going to if this is negative towards her, we'll change that.
I don't think it's negative towards her. It's negative towards the hotel they're staying in.
Let's rock and roll with it.
All right. She even says, I'll cut straight to Chase.
0 stars.
She doesn't like Chase.
Good. I mean...
Don't stay here. She's not from Georgia.
Maybe she does like Chase, and she doesn't want him to stay there.
But she cut straight to Chase.
I know.
Could be.
Right away.
You never know.
We can stay there. She just don't want Chase to
I don't think she's friends with Chase, though, because I hear Chase flies his private plane to Charlotte for a couple days a week and then flies home.
Yeah, so he would never stay at a hotel in Oakland.
Hey, do you think we ought to
Sonoma.
go to the pool hall when we're up there with customers next week?
So the pool hall was talking crap about Denny Hamlin, so I tweeted towards them like, "Hey," I said, "Hey, Denny Hamlin, let's go to the pool hall together and have a burger and see if the pool hall will keep talking crap about you in person." They responded back with, "Ha ha, no, we won't, but somebody will." I think we should go.
Get a Sharpie and a white Fruit of the Loom and put the number 11 on it?
Yeah. I'll write Denny on my shirt and you go write
I'll put Hamlin.
And we'll just sit next to each other.
Wow, we can shoot that on to...
Yes.
We can Twitter bait that one.
All right, so we will make our Denny Hamlin T-shirts.
We can't visit our customers wearing them, though.
No, but we'll make our Denny Hamlin T-shirts and we'll go to the pool room. We won't even cause a scene. We'll just walk in.
We'll just wear them.
In our homemade Denny Hamlin shirts.
Or Sharpie.
They called him like the
$3 Walmart white T-shirt.
The director of penalties and suspensions, Denny Hamlin. So that's what we'll write on our shirt. Denny Hamlin, the director of suspensions and penalties.
Yes.
Put a number 11. Mm-hmm. We'll both write that on our shirt and walk in there. And we won't say nothing. We'll just.
So they might spit on our burger.
That's true. Then we won't eat. I think they'd see the humor in it, actually.
We'll find out, won't we?
Yeah. I mean,
they might put us on Twitter.
I mean, we'll be all right.
Anyway,
I can sell weapons permits.
Samantha's got a V. She can't be a B. V as in Victor is different than B as in Bush.
Let's go straight to the chase.
Don't stay here. And the problem arises, she's very intelligent in her writing, it sounds like, arises from the ownership/management.
I'm arriving.
When checking in, the front desk guy repeatedly requested I return key card in the front desk when I left in the morning.
Well, I mean, that's better than him standing there jerking off.
11 a.m. checkout. Okay, fine. I'll return it, she replies.
I mean, if she would have talked to Charity, she'd be like, you know what? If that's all you're doing, sir, I will gladly return this.
The next morning at 9 a.m., he called my room and started off by, "You staying another night?" I reply, "No. Checkout is at 11, correct?" "Well, then you need to return the key card before you leave." "Return the key card, okay?" Now that would piss me off.
Well, maybe they didn't have but a limited amount of key cards.
What if we're sitting there after our cannonball run and they call us and wake us up to tell us to return our key cards?
I don't think there's no waking us up after that. I mean, they could have been calling. Heck, that homeless man could have climbed back in the room in Inglewood and took a shower while we were sleeping.
It's true, he could have.
We wouldn't have known it.
At this point, I'm pretty pissed.
Like you said.
S with dollar signs. That he was bothering me so much about an irrelevant key card, which I don't need to return until 11 a.m.
It's not irrelevant, though. Those things cost money. Like, it's not her money. It's the hotel's money. So
you'd think they'd price it in with your stay, though.
Well, I'm just saying.
I would if I owned a hotel.
They give it to you for you. I used to keep them. I have a whole shoebox upstairs full of hotel keys, but I don't anymore. I turn them back, which I'm sure they're like $0.25 a piece, but I'm just saying.
Well, this dude's a little aggressive because then she goes on to say, then at 10:15 a.m., he starts knocking on my door, yelling, "Hello, hello, hello. Are you staying again or are you leaving? You need to return the key card." And repeating it until I came out to the door. I opened the door, told him sternly he would get his key card when I left around 11. He jammed his foot in the door and threw it open and screamed, "What are you doing here?" Wow. I shoved him back to the door and he slapped me. Whoa. He slapped me.
Yes, I think this had nothing to do with a key card.
I'm a short, petite woman,
about rape.
5'1".
He wanted to attack her.
But have had many years of training in self-defense in the Israeli army. Ooh,
good for you, Samantha.
That is not good. You know, Wonder Woman, she learned self-defense in the Israeli army. Yeah. Not Wonder Woman, the actress.
Yeah, I can't remember the girl's name.
Something goat.
Yeah, pretty girl. Played in Fast and Furious.
Who could kick some ass? Yeah, she was in Fast and Furious.
She can drive, she can fight, and she's pretty. Wow. That means she can whoop your butt and get away from the cops.
She must have been by herself, because if I was there and someone came in and slapped my wife, that's murder, dude. Well, I'd call it self-defense when the police showed up.
Is it really self-defense, though, if you unload your gun, change clips, unload that one, change gun?
In California?
Change clips, unload that one?
Pulling the gun and not shooting him's murder, I think.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Thinking about it is.
Yeah, that's murder.
Actually, we would be charged with murder if we lived
Thinking
in
about
California just for talking about murder on the show. I think that's how it works. So,
well, she says I dropped to my knees and uppercut his testicles. I told you she was educated.
I mean,
I would have put balls there.
Samantha, we're using her.
She's a badass.
Yeah, I'm using Israeli Army in the title this week in honor of Samantha V. She's my hero.
He fell to his knees and I chopped him in the throat. So that's karate, isn't it? Chop?
Yeah. I mean,
right in the throat.
She uppercutted his testicles and chopped his throat.
The force made him fall flat on his back and he grabbed his throat gasping. I would think so. I went behind him and drug him out of my door and slammed it. Good job, Samantha.
Yes.
You're a badass. These people don't care that you're their patrons. Paying good money to stay at their mediocre hotels because it's in Napa. I would never stay there again. I do not recommend it.
I would hope you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I would have probably called the police. I mean, you did a good job.
Yeah. I mean, technically, he paid the penalty, you know?
I mean, technically, in California,
she might get charged of murder.
She's probably, I mean, if he was homeless.
Oh, definitely charged of murder.
She's ex-Israeli Army. She's going to jail in 2023. I guarantee it.
Well, obviously, he knew he was doing something wrong because she doesn't continue that I spent the night in jail.
Well, that's because
he ain't calling the police.
This was 2022, not 2023.
That's true. She did this in 2022.
You could still defend yourself in California last year. It's this year. California and New York now, you can't. Self-defense is considered murder.
So this review.
What's this? How do you pronounce this guy's name, by the way?
I can't. U3024 GW Kelly T.
Yeah, okay.
OMG is the title of the review. 1 out of 5. TripAdvisor is what this was on.
Old man garbage.
While the location, it could be. While the location is good, very close to food, gas, and highway, the room was atrocious. Everything in the room functioned. Did not use the TV and brackets, but the room was dirty. Sticky laminate flooring, the filthiest curtains I've ever seen, and the walls definitely needed a serious scrubbing. This was the only time I've ever had to go to the front desk and request clean sheets because the ones on the bed look very questionable.
Well, the ones at the front desk aren't going to be any cleaner. He's probably there jerking off on those sheets.
That's a different hotel.
Oh.
Unless this guy got fired and came to work at this one.
Hey, you never know.
You never know. I mean,
he got kicked in the nuts at his last job.
Yeah.
Got caught jerking off, went and got a new job, got kicked in the nuts, and now he's
karate chopped in the throat.
And now he's here jerking off in clean sheets.
I think the Israeli Army does, well, I know for a fact.
Komograph.
I've been there before. Krav Maga or Krav Maga.
Where you been? To Israeli Army?
Oh, yeah.
You was in the Israeli Army?
No, I was not in. I never served.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not a veteran or a memorial.
Were you memorial?
They might have memorialized me when I left the place and said, thank God this obnoxious American child has left.
How long did you live in Israel?
The summer.
That's kind of cool. I didn't know that. But you were on an American base, right?
Yes.
Is that considered American? Like the embassy is
considered the American soil. So technically I never left America. But then I left.
So your whole life, even living in other countries, you still technically lived in America.
Basically, yeah.
Because you lived in
bases.
Israeli.
Let's just say bases around the world.
So Israel, Japan, Germany.
Philippines.
Where?
Philippines.
Philippines, Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Philippines. Where else?
That's it.
California?
Yeah.
I know your brother.
That's another country, though.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying.
And Washington, D.C.?
That's another country.
That's another country.
Well, it might not have been then, though.
Macon was not another country, but it's become one.
Yeah, that's true. It's the most dangerous one.
Yeah, it's worse than Chicago.
Yeah. According to the numbers, the data. The SMT data proves it.
Yeah.
All right.
Those guys will take a hard right to your chest with a 9mm.
Let's get back to the night manager jerking off in the clean sheets.
So she goes on to say the gal at the desk was very nice and accommodating. The motel is also located directly under the high tension power line.
Wait a minute.
Tower.
It's a woman at the desk? Because that completely ruins my theory about the guy jerking off.
Well, he could be trans.
That's true. Okay. So maybe. Still, this
she
is
says,
California.
Can you say EMS? So, yes, it's haunted. So, I watch on the Discovery Channel.
What's an EMF?
It's electric something, magnetic fields.
That was extra mother.
That's how they measure when they do ghost hunting to see if there's a ghost.
EMFs.
Yeah, they measure EMFs. The ghost comes just in and
I mean, that's like me going, Jamie. Oh, I'm getting a high reading on these sunglasses, Jamie. I think there's a ghost over here near you.
Well,
we could take our audio recorder and do the same thing.
I haven't seen, of all these ghost shows I watch, one that I believe.
Yeah, me neither. No, God.
Actually, when I was a kid.
How you catch all that in 30 minutes?
A bunch of friends of mine when we were in high school. There's this place called Ellicott City. About once every 5 years, they get flooded. But outside, this is this old mansion that's supposed to be haunted. So supposedly this mother goes up to the 3rd floor and rocks the cradle where there's a baby.
No, that's not good.
And it's out in the middle of nowhere. It's in these woods. So we drove out there on the anniversary when you're supposed to see them.
Okay.
And we went to the house. We had binoculars, all kinds of stuff.
Just see them?
Well, someone turned on a light.
Oh, he took off?
That's all we saw, yeah. Actually, the buddy who drove us in his car, it was a nice car, 1970 Monte Carlo, he got so scared he left us on the side of the road.
All right, scaredest I've ever been?
Yeah.
Is that the scariest you've ever been?
Pretty much. I didn't crap my pants, but came close.
How old were you?
Probably 17, 18.
So I was probably 17, 16, between 16 and 17, hanging out with some buddies of mine. We were probably partying, having a good time, but we ended up in a graveyard. My buddy lived across the street from the cemetery. So we're like, we're going to go for a walk in the cemetery. So we take off. Everything's cool. It's dark. About 30, 45 minutes into the walk, things start getting a little crazy. Start hearing noises. Dude, we literally flipped out. Took off running. We're running through the cemetery. We heard this loud...
there's another problem.
Yeah, that don't work out well either. I have a scar on my shin to prove it, but that's a whole nother story too. But we're running through the cemetery and we hear this loud crash. So these 2 trash cans, metal trash cans, fall over, and we just stop. And all of a sudden, stuff starts just come flying out from around these trash cans. We took off running the other direction. Yeah, those are our buddy's parents. They knew we had took off in the cemetery, so they go following us in and wait till we get as far back into it as possible. They start making ghost noises and throwing crap at us. Yeah, it freaked us out.
Now, I have what is probably, it's an entity. Don't know if it's a ghost. Could have been Satan. Don't know. My wife's in the real estate, right? She's showing this house. I got my license so I could go with her on showings because most of her showings were evening and weekends. And sometimes the first time you meet someone, you don't trust them.
Yeah.
So I'd go with her for the first meeting. So she's opening a house, preparing it, turning the lights on.
Mm-hmm.
They're not there yet. The front door's open. Well, we turned the air conditioner on because it was summertime. This is 2-3 years ago. To get rid of the humidity and the heat because we're Georgia.
Yeah.
So I go to close the front door to the house. I cannot move it. It's open. Could not move it. My wife goes over, grabs the door handle, and easily closes the front door. I'm like, that is bizarre. She's like, you're faking it. I opened it back up, went to it, and could not close it. This happened like 5 times.
That freaked me out.
So my wife came and closed the door and said, hey, we'll tell them to come on in, and then we'll ask them to close the door when they're leaving. We'll go to the front porch first. So they look at the house. They come outside, and we went out there first and said, hey, will you close that door? They closed it perfectly fine.
So it's just you.
So I decided to reopen it instead of, you got a special key code and all this stuff to get the key to lock it.
Yeah.
I decided to reopen it before I locked it up. The door was not locked. I could not open it. And I told my wife, I said, I can't open it. She came over, opened it, closed it, locked it up, put the key in the realtor's box.
So I wonder why that happened to just you then.
I don't know. But anyway, let's get back to old 3024 Jawickality.
Jawickality.
She says, after she said, so yes, it's haunted, my blankets and sheets were constantly being pulled off of me. First time it appeared, I thought I did it. The next time I happened to get up to make sure the door was locked, and it was. I set my iPhone on the pillow and recorded it. I was scared and hid under the covers, and still they pulled it off. OMG. I watched the video on my phone, and there was nothing there, but you could see the covers slowly being pulled back. I turned on the lights, packed my bags, and left. I found a Hilton with a room available and checked in. Better motel, better staff, cleaner, and no ghosts. Tried to post the video, but they couldn't handle it in the reviews. I would have liked to have seen that video.
I would like to have seen the videos too. Why couldn't they handle it? Oh, all you had to do is post the video on YouTube, post a link into the review. There you go.
So U3024GW Kelly T.
Yeah,
that's how you do it.
We're going to need you to post that. I just need the evidence. That's all.
That's all
I'm saying.
I'd like to see it.
All right, so we're going to Sonoma. The race is at 3:30 p.m. on the big network of Fox and PRN Radio. It is a 2.52-mile road course.
Do you know we have a week vacation after that because there's no race for Father's Day? Yeah. What would you like to do for Father's Day if you're sitting around and didn't have to cut the grass?
Watch the race.
I wonder why they came up with that idea.
Because they race on Mother's Day who don't want to sit around and watch the race in the afternoon.
But that means we missed the race.
Yeah.
Because it's Mother's Day.
I know. We can. So I'm doing fantasy a little different. I'm going to give you the top 10 for the last race. And as I read off the top 10 finishing, I'm going to give you their average finish out of the last 4 races at Sonoma, okay?
Is that what AVF stands for?
Average finish.
Oh, wow. That's
Daniel
cool.
Suarez won last time we were at Sonoma.
Oh, yeah, he did.
His average finish is 11.3. Chris Buescher finished.
Oh, it's Immigrants Month. Remember?
Yeah.
He might win again.
Maybe. Chris Buescher finished second. He has an average finish of 11.5. Macro McDowell finished third with an average finish of 19.3. Kevin Harvick finished fourth with an average finish of 8.5. Austin Cindric finished fifth. He's only raced there once, so his average finish is fifth. Ryan Blaney finished sixth with an average finish of 13.3. Ross Chastain finished seventh with an average finish of 15.7. Chase Elliott finished eighth with an average finish of 12.8. William Byron finished ninth with an average finish of 22nd. And Brad Keselowski finished 10th with an average finish of 14th. So, fantasy. We picked 3 drivers each week. Last week, Jamie, I had Byron, Bowman, and Denny for a total of 36 points, and you had Truex, Brad, and Larson for a total of 37 points.
I think bad Brad is screwing me the way.
You get to pick first.
Man. Same way you've been screwed by Ryan Blaney. I'm going to have to take a break on Brad.
All right. I don't blame you.
So, for the top 10...
Yep. We pick a driver 1 through 10, 11 through 20, and 20 through 36.
Kyle Larson.
For your first pick?
Yep.
All right.
Mid 10, Allmendinger. This is his chance.
All right.
Bottom 10. I still like Brad. I can't do it, though. I can't. Just can't do it. And I don't think this is going to be Ross's race. Tyler Reddick.
Reddick?
Yep.
All right, let me what about Chase Elliott?
I don't think his head's in it this year. I think this will be his excuse. I mean, you might as well count him.
Does he count for the 9 finish?
Yeah, I would say so.
What about Lajoie then? I mean, either way.
Lajoie's back in the 7, so
he's still in that bottom bracket regardless. Okay.
But he's not in good equipment next week.
You got Larson,
Allmendinger, and Tyler Reddick.
All right. I'm going to go with, all right. Oh, man.
The race is tightening up, dude.
I know.
If it wasn't for Brad K.
We were 1 point off from each other last week, 36 and 37.
But I picked Brad.
Well, it doesn't matter. I had Bowman. So either way, we still almost tied. That would be crazy, wouldn't it? All right, I'm going to go with...
Would we get fined by NASCAR if that happened?
Probably.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. Suspended for a week.
I'm going to go with Ryan Blaney.
Wow.
Yep. I'm going to try him.
So the dry spell with Ryan's over?
Well, I got to try him again at some point, right?
Yeah. Go for it.
And just see what happens. I mean, it's good for you. Or it could be at least.
Well, not if he wins.
That's true. Dude, this next, there's nobody to pick from here. Oh, man, this sucks. All right, I go.
Well, Eric Almirillo isn't that bad of a choice because he's got Smithfield guaranteeing that he has a ride.
In there.
Chinese chicken, dude.
Well, I thought about going with McDowell, but let's see.
He might pull one off this year. Atlanta. The July race in Atlanta.
Oh, man, I'm gonna regret every one of these picks, probably. Ty Gibbs.
I don't know. Ty could do it.
Well, I mean, I think he can at least get me a top 20.
He's been solid this year and not really caused much drama. Maybe Ty should cause some drama since Ross is done.
I'm going to take Elliot then.
Elliot's won on some road courses. Not a bad pick.
That's what I mean. I need all the help I can get if I'm going with Blaney and Ty.
Hopefully his head's in the game.
All right, that's all I got this week.
That's all I got. Other than a bad case of gonorrhea.
Yeah, Jamie still has his gonorrhea, but don't worry. He is taking an antibiotic for
it. Was airborne too, so don't start sending sympathy notes to the wife. It was airborne gonorrhea, COVID gonorrhea.
He got it peeing at the rest area on the Cannonball Run.
I even wiped it with
just flared up.
Hand sanitizer.
He got it at the one pilot station we stopped at.
I thought red, white, and blue was for this month.
When your balls
the rainbow color, but no, my testicles were not celebrating Pride. They hurt.
They just turned blue.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to everybody who listens to the show and watches it each week and shares it on social media with your friends. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. We're at Car Backwards. Go to our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. Check out all our other videos and shorts. Check us out on Spotify and rate us. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts and make sure you leave us a review there like Brandon did. You can send us a DM or email us at racecarbackwardspod@gmail.com. We'll answer any questions you got on the show or privately.
Maybe.
Handle it.
Do you ever look at it, Brad?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Brad looks at it.
And check out our website and our merch store. It's racecarbbackwards.com. We need to get some stickers and shirts made up before Father's Day for Cooter Shooter Day.
Yeah, Cooter Shooter Day.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll do Cooter Shooter 2024.
Yeah.
You can buy one, you can give it to your mom next year, and then you can re-gift it to your dad. So you only have to buy one shirt. Or you can buy one sticker.
Maybe you could encourage them to procreate again.
Stickers.
You know?
Yeah, they can
put a little love in their life. Isn't that a song on
Cooter Shooter versus Cooter Shooter?
Put a little love in your life. Maybe that's a real song that they bought to put on an ad.
Maybe.
Like before our time.
Maybe. Very well could be.
Put a little love in your life. Put a little love in your wife.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great week, and we'll catch you next week. See you later. Bye.
Did it again. I got to stop.
You just listened to Race Car spelled backwards. For that, we thank you.